Ephesians 1:18. The eyes of your understanding being enlightened, that ye may know what is the hope of his calling, and what the riches of the glory of his inheritance in the saints. This verse is part of a prayer, one of the most heartfelt prayers in Scripture. The Apostle Paul is not praying for material blessings, success, or even relief from hardship. Instead, he prays for something deeper and far more lasting, that the eyes of our understanding would be opened. This is a powerful image. Just as our physical eyes allow us to see the world around us, our spiritual eyes allow us to perceive truth, meaning, and the reality of God's presence and promises. Without this spiritual sight, we may live, work, and even believe, yet still miss the depth and beauty of what God is doing in and through our lives. When Paul speaks of the eyes of your understanding being enlightened, he is pointing to a transformation that happens within the heart and mind. It is not about gaining more information, but about gaining clarity. Many people know about God, but far fewer truly see what that means for their lives. This enlightenment is like a light turning on in a dark room. Suddenly, what was once confusing becomes clear. What once felt distant becomes personal. God's truth is no longer just something we hear. It becomes something we understand and experience. This kind of understanding is not something we can force or achieve through effort alone. It is a gift God gives. That's why Paul prays for it. It reminds us that spiritual insight is a gift of grace. We can read Scripture, listen to teachings, and reflect deeply, but ultimately it is God who opens our eyes. This should lead us to a place of humility and dependence. Instead of relying only on our own reasoning, we learn to ask God, "Help me see, help me understand, show me what I cannot see on my own." Paul then explains what he hopes we will see once our understanding is enlightened. First, he mentions the hope of his calling. This is not a vague or wishful hope. It is a confident expectation rooted in God's faithfulness. God's calling is his invitation to know him, to belong to him, and to live with purpose, both now and forever. When we truly see this hope, it changes how we live. We are no longer defined by our past mistakes, our current struggles, or our uncertain future. Instead, we are anchored in the reality that God has called us for something eternal and meaningful. Many people go through life searching for purpose, wondering if their lives matter. This verse reminds us that in God, our purpose is already established. His calling is not random or accidental. It is intentional and filled with hope. When our spiritual eyes are opened to this truth, we begin to live differently. We face challenges with greater peace. We make decisions with greater clarity. We endure hardships with greater strength, knowing that our lives are part of something much bigger than what we can see in the moment. Paul also speaks of the riches of the glory of his inheritance in the saints. This phrase can be understood in a beautiful and somewhat surprising way. Often we think of our inheritance as what we receive from God, but here Paul is also pointing to the idea that God sees his people as His inheritance. In other words, we are deeply valued by Him. We are not just recipients of His blessings, we are part of what He treasures. This truth can be difficult to grasp. Many people struggle with feelings of unworthiness or insignificance. We may look at our flaws and failures and wonder how God could possibly see us as something glorious or valuable. But this verse invites us to see ourselves through God's eyes. His love is not based on our performance. His value of us is not dependent on our success. He has chosen us, redeemed us, and calls us His own. When our understanding is enlightened, we begin to see that our worth is not something we earn, it is something we are given. The phrase riches of the glory suggests abundance, beauty, and greatness beyond measure. God's view of His people is not small or limited, it is rich and full of glory. This means that when God looks at those who belong to Him, He sees something precious and significant. He sees the work of His grace. He sees the transformation He is bringing about. He sees the eternal future He has prepared. As this truth begins to root in our hearts, it can change the way we see ourselves and others. We become less focused on comparison and more focused on calling. We become less critical and more compassionate. We begin to recognize that every person who belongs to God carries this same value and purpose. This can transform our relationships, leading us to treat others with greater kindness, patience, and love. There is also a sense of progression in this verse. First, our eyes are opened. Then we come to know. Spiritual growth often follows this pattern. God reveals something to us, and as we begin to understand it, our lives begin to change. But this is not a one-time experience. It is an ongoing journey. There are always deeper levels of understanding, greater clarity to receive, and more of God's truth to discover. This should encourage us to keep seeking. Even if we feel like we don't fully understand everything right now, that is okay. God is patient. He is willing to guide us step by step. What matters is that we remain open and willing to see. We continue to pray, to listen, and to trust that God is at work within us. In a world that often feels uncertain and overwhelming, this verse offers a steady foundation. It reminds us that true clarity does not come from having all the answers, but from knowing God. When our understanding is enlightened, we begin to see life from a different perspective. We see hope where there was once fear. We see purpose where there was once confusion. We see value where there was once doubt. This kind of vision does not remove all difficulties, but it changes how we walk through them. We are no longer walking in darkness, trying to figure everything out on our own. We are walking in light, guided by the truth of who God is and who we are in Him. So let this verse become a prayer in your own life. Ask God to open the eyes of your understanding. Ask Him to help you truly see the hope of His calling and the richness of what He has given you. And as He answers that prayer, trust that He will lead you into a deeper, fuller, and more meaningful understanding of His love and purpose for your life.